Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Enlightened Blissful Souls. In today's video, I want to talk about and dive into the meaning or what happens after you pass on to the other side, after you die, on a spiritual context. For starters, there is no such thing as dying, not energetically at least. The only thing that dies is the vessel, the body that you leave behind, because you have to remember that you are a light being, you are energy residing in a vase for an experience, sort of like driving a vehicle, right? You are not the vehicle, you simply drive it. You make it go and do things whatever you want it to do and wherever you want it to go. The same idea applies to our human life. We're just here for an experience and to evolve and grow at soul level through our human experience. With that being said, if you have a loved one on the other side, or if you're simply curious yourself as to what happens when you are on the other side, this is my spiritual perspective from my guides and angels that I've gathered about what happens when we return back home. The first thing that happens as your body dies out is that your soul comes out. And everyone sort of has a different experience in that moment of your soul coming out of your body. However, a lot of souls, and you can actually see these in near-death experiences, testimonials, people talking about their near-death experiences, is that a lot of them will see their body laying there on the ground or on the bed or wherever they were at. And it's sort of like astral projecting. If you've ever done that, or if you know what astral projection is, it's a very similar experience when you first are transitioning back home. After that, you then feel this pulling or this expansion happening where you're being drawn or taken back somewhere else. A lot of people are able to see their homes as if they were flying, being drawn back and back, and then they see planet Earth, they see the universe, and so on, right? They see stars as they're being pulled back to their true essence, returning back home. When you return to this loving light place, you then go through a life review. In this life review, you are sort of assessing and going over everything that you acquired and learned and experienced in that lifetime. The reason for this is because you are here exactly for that, to learn, to experience. And I'm going to keep repeating that because sometimes we take life so seriously and so harshly when you're basically here for that. We learn through lessons, right? So at soul level, once you get back to that space, you'll be welcomed back by loved ones, your guides, your angels, those that you're familiar with, because you don't instantly remember who you are at soul level. That's a process. It's a transition. So when you first get back, it's not like woof, you automatically remember everything about your soul and everything that there is. It's more so a process. So one of that process, the first thing is that life review. You go over how your choices and who you were in this lifetime affected others, or how they affected you, and basically what you gained, what you're taking back with you at soul level. From there, another perspective about that is you get a choice. You get a choice to reincarnate or not. And not right away. It's not like, oh, I just got back, I'm ready to come back into Earth. It's not like that. But after you assess and review your life and what you gained out of this experience, you also get to choose, okay, do I want to go back and learn again? Or do I want to go back and evolve in this area or experience more love, experience more music, or whatever it is. There's so many different things and it's unique to everyone, but you get a choice on whether or not you want to incarnate or not. A lot of times as well with that, from what I've heard in my understanding, is you then start to transition into remembering who you are, remembering why you decided to come down to planet Earth. So before we come down to planet Earth, we sign a contract. And this contract basically contains the most important lessons that we're meant to learn and connection. So certain relationships, family members, jobs, people that we sort of like have to meet in order to learn these lessons that we're signing up for. This is why you either feel a really strong connection to certain beings, or there's a certain job or career that teaches you a lot, that you feel like, okay, this place was very significant in my life, right? Versus other jobs where whatever, you went there for a little bit, it wasn't that great of an experience, but another job or a person taught you a very valuable lesson. It's because those things, those people, those places were meant, they were part of your soul contract. Because not everything is planned out. There is free will, and there's things that just happen as destiny. There's things that just happen because that's how the universe pushed it to happen. Not like, okay, I'm going to live this life and I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and then after 6 a.m. I'm going to do this and do that. It's not exactly that detailed. It's more so the bigger lessons that you are supposed to learn in that lifetime. And from there, you get to go on the spirit realm, reunite with loved ones, reunite with whomever you wish to reunite with, and just go back to being in that essence of joy and bliss and enlightenment, and just being there, existing in awareness. And so the way that my guides have explained it to me, or for me to understand, right? They put it this way for me to understand, because I'm like, okay, I asked them, I'm like, why is it that we have to come and learn lessons? Like, if we are eternal beings of love and light, and it's all this bliss, and we are capable of anything and everything, then why do we have to come to Earth and learn lessons? Why can't we just already know it, right? If we're capable of so much. And this is the way that they put it. The way that they put it is, think of your soul just sort of like here in your human form, right? There are certain thresholds. Let's say there's bronze, silver, gold, and so on, right? Like up a ladder, right? And you evolve and you get wiser as a soul. You get more ascended as a soul through your knowledge. Just like here on planet Earth, how you go to school, how you start off in elementary and then move up to middle school and high school and college, or even just as a person, right? You start off as a child to a teenager to a young adult to an adult to an old person, and you become wiser, or most of us we become wiser as time goes on, as we get all of these experiences, right? Like, life challenges teach us to become wiser. It teaches us what we know. And the more you do something, the more you repeat it, the more you experience it, the more you learn and endure and become stronger and more expansive, right? So that is the same way that our soul works. It's the same way at soul level. You have to evolve and you learn by experiencing. Even if I were to sit here and tell you all about how I do tarot readings, let's say, right? I can tell you all about how tarot readings work, how the cards connect, and how I'm able to predict someone's future and all of these things. You will never truly know what it's like unless you experience it for yourself, right? Unless you hold a deck of cards yourself and start doing readings yourself, or even with like becoming a doctor. Someone can sit with you and explain all of the steps to becoming a doctor, but until you're hands-on there living it yourself, you won't actually know what it's like to become a doctor and gain and have those skills, right? So it's the same thing with being a soul. You essentially want to evolve as a soul and become more of an ascended being, right? An energetic being. A lot of times there are souls that then become guides, right? Then you can be a guide for others, and then you become of service and you help others in their lifetime. So whatever you gained, whatever you learned in your lifetime, and you go back to your true essence, you can then share that with other beings who are going through a similar journey or a journey of their own, where you have already gained that wisdom, and it's like you can guide them right from spirit world. That is what our spirit guides are. They are ascended masters. They have done lifetime after lifetime and know what it's like, so now they can sort of be like a teacher and a leader to us with their input and their advice. So if you've ever wondered how your loved one is doing, if they're okay, what do they do, or what's going to happen to you once it's your time to go back home, know that you simply go back to your true essence. They are better than what you can imagine. You know, life in the spiritual realm is very different from life here on planet Earth. There is no suffering. And this, of course, it's my personal belief in what I've gained from my connection with spirit. But the way that loved ones come through, even when I do mediumship readings, they feel very, very happy, very comforted, very fulfilled. It's like a joy and a bliss that they cannot explain. And even in these near-death experiences, testimonials, and I encourage you to go and watch some if you'd like here on YouTube, they also say the same thing, that during that moment where they went back to heaven, or, you know, their true essence, whatever you believe in, that we go back to, when you go back home, most of them did not want to come back to Earth, even though they knew they had family members here, they had a life here. Most of them testified that they felt this unconditional love and support, and so genuinely happy, like overwhelming feeling of belonging, that they did not want to return. That oftentimes they only returned because they were told it was not their time yet. That message, that experience was meant to be a testimony for them to share with us here on Earth, right? I've watched so many near-death experiences, so many testimonials of that sort, and I've concluded with all of these that I watched. I feel like I've watched all of the videos out there here on YouTube, to be honest with you. And even children have had these experiences, and they all have a few things in common. And one of them is this, is that they said they felt this unconditional love, that they did not want to come back here. They wanted to stay there. And that is the same way that loved ones come forward when I do a mediumship reading. They come through very happy and at ease, no more pain, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, and with a very different perspective too. Oof, that is the biggest one. And I just felt chills on my body when I said that, is that your perspective really changes when you go back to your true essence. And it changes because you're able to look at things on a whole different view. Think of it as seeing things from the outside in, instead of seeing it from who you are and what you're experiencing. You see things for what they truly are, and you just understand things completely differently. This is why if you have someone that passed away, and let's say this person, you know, was hurtful to you, or this person was an addict, or this person had anger issues, or whatever the case may be, that is not exactly who they are in spirit anymore. I mean, they are still themselves. They still hold some of those qualities that they had when they lived this lifetime, but they go, again, you have to remember, you go back to your true essence. They go back to their true selves, meaning that their true self is more compassionate, is more understanding, is more wise, and they see that whole experience for what it is, not what they felt. Because a lot of times our emotions will make us see things one way when it's actually not. So that part sort of gets removed, and you get to really like understand life and understand what happened. So there's just a whole lot more love and more abundance and more warmth and more oneness, all right? Because that's one thing I really want you to know, is that there's massive oneness with us. We are all connected, okay? In a way, in a level that words cannot describe. It is very true when they say that we are all one. Even if we're here in individual bodies, our heart, our spirit, our essence is still just one. We all come from the same loving place. All right, my beautiful friends, I really hope that this video has given you some sort of new insight and perspective around what happens to our loved ones or when we pass. It's honestly nothing to fear. Another way that I could put this is dreaming, right? When you're dreaming, it feels real. It feels like that is all that there is. It's your dream. You're in that dream. It's almost like you're not really aware that you're dreaming unless you're lucid dreaming or, but most of the time we're not even aware that we're dreaming. We think that that is our reality, and we think that whatever is happening in that moment is it. That is reality, right? And then we wake up and we're like, oh, that was just a dream. That wasn't actually real, right? And it feels so real at times. Some dreams can feel like you really cannot tell the difference between dreams and reality. And so that's sort of the same concept that also my guides gave me to try to understand this. Life is a dream. Life is basically a dream. And then when you pass away, when you die, you wake up and you're going back to your true, true real essence and who you are at soul level as a light being of love and light. All right, my loves, thank you so much for joining me today in this very intriguing topic. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below. And please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that we can stay connected for the next videos that I'll be uploading. All right, I will see you the next time. Bye.